I was having a conversation with a concerned citizen, and his exact words were, last, last, now bicycle sure pass. And that basically in Nigeria means that at the end of the day, bicycle is the surest way. Now, the issue of fuel price increment in Nigeria is one that has continuously stirred up not just controversy, but fear among the people. The looming possibility of another increase in fuel prices has once again brought this issue to the forefront of public discourse. Last year, Nigerians were taken aback by the significant jump in fuel prices, with the cost per litre skyrocketing from 190 to over 600. Now, this sudden and drastic increase had a profound impact on the daily lives of Nigeria, many of whom struggle to cope with the financial burden it placed on them. That even as of December, there was also a free transport arrangement or a 50% slash just to cushion the effect that it had. So imagine what the living condition would be if the price jumps again, and this time double to 1,200 or so, as suggested by oil marketers who say that subsidy on petrol was increasing considering the crash of the naira against the dollar, and the cost of crude oil, hence PMS, should sell for 1,200 naira per litre in a free market. Now, while the federal government has made no official announcement and these rumors are, to a large extent being debunked, one cannot completely rule out the possibility. And that's why we're going to have the conversation today. With that said, joining us to have this conversation is Ukadike Chinedu, National Public Relations Officer, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association Nigeria, currently joining us from Imo State. Thank you so much, Mr. Chinedu, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's start with the reason that oil marketers have given, that reason for the oil price, or reason why the oil price should be at least 1,200. Are these reasons valid?
Well, it is a policy statement that was also made by the GMD of NNPC. Alhaji Kare, who, when was addressing marketers, told us that the benchmark or the price regime will be determined by the dollar rate. And that was why the product was increased from 145 naira per litre as the pump price to 555 naira, 595 naira, as the case may be. And that is why we independent marketers, products we normally buy for 8.1 million naira for 45,000 litres of petroleum products was now sold to us as 25.something million naira. Just for the jury to mark up the difference in price in line with the dollar rate. Now, the bench price for dollar as at that time was 650, 700 naira thereabouts. And that was what worked out the S-pump price to 595 to 600. Now that the dollar is 1,200 thereabout or 190 something thereabout, both at the exchange and the parallel and the open black market. The GMD categorically and crystal clear told us that the price of domestic petroleum products in Nigeria will be determined by the dollar rate. So if you go by that, you have seen that there's a 50% increase. That means that the dollar that was at 600 and something, as when the benchmark was 550 something naira per litre. Now the dollar is 1,200 at the parallel market. So our fears is this, that there is something that is behind the curtain, the iron curtain, that the government is not telling us. That if actually that the government is very, very sincere and transparent in the dealing and deregulating the petroleum industry, especially the downstream sector, distribution chain, they should be bold enough to open up the market and open up investments so that other marketers who are interested to import petroleum products will import. You will also recall that immediately the president in his media speech open up the regulation and say there is no subsidy. Private companies, around 4 or 5 I knew, and I witnessed the pattern of their vessels, we are allowed to import petroleum products. And a lot of businessmen went into scouting for PMS wherever they can be able to get it. And some of them successfully landed those petroleum products in the country. But as I'm talking to you now, none of them has gone back to be able to raise vessel or talk about bringing in another vessel after their first trip. So either the market is bad or there is something the government is not telling us. Because all these people are businessmen and they also want to make profits.
Okay, so with these reasons now that have been presented, what is the possibility of a price hike then?
No, the possibility is that the government wants to maintain tempo, maybe just because the incessant threat from organized labor and the reaction of the masses as against the government policies. You understand? Because the president reassured us that he knows how to deregulate petroleum products to the downstream. And the dividends of this will also be taken back to the society. And like you said in your report, that transportation was reduced to 50%. That some pallets have been shared. That is not what the Nigerians are expecting. That one is a mortuary. That's a mortuary approach. So what we are expecting that this regulation will bring to Nigerians.
Okay. Now, we have seen what the economic implications were of the recent price hike, even up until December, the Yuletide season. What are the potential implications if there is a further increase in the fuel price?
Please, can you come again with the question?
So I'm basically just asking what the implications will be with the fuel price hike, bearing in mind that Nigeria is already, the economy is already suffering, with the previous price hike, the cost of food has skyrocketed, cost of transportation, cost of everything. So with the staggering economy that the country has now, what is the further implication if there is if the fuel price hike doubles?
Okay, you see, the Nigerian economy is domestically driven by distribution of petroleum products. At least if it's not up to 60%, I will beat my chest and also stand to the challenge that 50% of the distribution of petroleum products affects the domestic economy. The mineral product was, the deregulation was removed. Product jumped from 145 to 600 or something, or something. Every domestic articles, every domestic businesses was skyrocketed. And what we witnessed was a galloping inflation, whereby it was very, very difficult for even you to buy a tuber of yam or even electronics in the market. It was a chain reaction. It's not something about petroleum price, you're going to buy fuel. No, you want to go and buy yam, go and buy rice. Rice is in a bag, it's around 50 something. A tuber of yam is around 1,500, sizable tuber of yam. And because most of these people, farmers, pay heavily. From Makodi to Port Harcourt, you are spending close to 2 to 3 million naira to just move the goods from one point to the other. The roads are bad, there are no railways, there are no incentives, and government is doing nothing about it. So it's a chain reaction. The economy is nosediving. And let me just use that one. The economy is the naira is becoming weaker and weaker every day. You see so many nairas pursuing few goods in the market. And that is why you see this Christmas was not too merry, because I was opined. Yes, I opined that this Merry Christmas, that they should remove Merry in this Christmas and just say Christmas. That's what I feel about it. Because actually it affected domestically every single movement, every single economic activity, even including to those in the barman shops. They are no longer using petrol. They are trying to use CNH7 machine, and the business is not moving as they feel they ought to move. Even the issue of bringing in CNG and LNG, government introduce alternatives to carbonized product. You also find out that, as I'm talking to you now, the natural gas is being sold for 1,100 per kg, which is something that started with around 150, 200 naira per kg. So it's in short, it's a comprehensive galloping inflation that we are facing at this particular point in time. And something drastic must have to, the president have to stand his foot and be able to take some drastic measures to ensure that our domestic refinery are working, and they are working in ultimate so that we can be able to export these petroleum products. As Nigeria is an oil producing country, why are we always talking about importing petroleum production? They are using dollar as a yardstick to determine the price of petroleum products in our own country. It is very sad.
Well, I'm glad that you talked about the measures that are needed, and one of which, of course, like you mentioned, is exporting our own resources. The problem now seems to be that it's as though the government does not prioritize the refineries. We're not working on it as much as we should. I mean, people would say that there's no sense of urgency, especially with the recent news of the Dangote refinery and the fact that they're about to kickstart operations. Do you think that the government does not prioritize the need for our own refineries so that we can export our own products and stop solely depending on the imports of this product?
Well, for Tinubu administration, I will not totally condemn their approach towards revamping the refinery. The refinery has been a recalling testament in all the previous governments, both of Obasanjo government. That was when the refinery died, and it continues like that. When Buhari came in, he said he was a former minister of petroleum that's going to do something about the refinery. Trillions of naira was also budgeted to revamp the refinery. And tomorrow we'll hear that they are done with Area 4. They are not in Area 5. Next tomorrow you hear that they're in Area 5 now. They are trying to revamp Area 4. So billions of naira the refinery was used as a conduit pipe to settle politicians. But recently I took a trip with some of my colleagues in the oil and gas, some of the stakeholders in the oil and gas sector, to be able to look at the refinery properly. With the new the MD of the refinery, I think the guy is trying, and the refinery has been completely overhauled. And with what is happening in the refinery, if this government continue like that, I think there will be a sort of relief. And on the issue of the Dangote refinery, I'm not a member of their team. I cannot be able to say what is still holding them after almost 8 months or 6 months of flagging of the refinery. I also believe that when refineries are being flagged up, the product they produce, the people that are there will be able to see it, and also it will be unveiled, and trust will go into the depot to depots and load out. But this time around, I didn't know what was happening. Even on the day of inauguration, there was still heavy work going there. As I'm also talking to you right now, we're also getting feelers that the refinery has not been completely completed, and that government has given them crude to be able to have received the first 600,000 barrels to be able to start the refinery. But we're also hopeful that based on what we have heard before February, March, end of March, that at least independent marketers will be able to go and buy petroleum products from Dangote refinery. While we're also hopeful that the Port Harcourt refinery, which the steam has come up and they have celebrated it, will also come on steam fully on or before end of February. So that, you see, why I'm talking about this refinery, the issue of logistics will be curtailed. If the petroleum product is sold at 700 naira per litre or 650 per litre, if you remove all these vessel logistics and all the rest of them, you will find out that you'll also be cutting down around 15 to 20% of the cost of the petroleum product. And our refineries are being designed in line with the TTZ of NNPC to be able to distribute, like a Petrol refinery, can be able to distribute products up to Yola, where you have substations in Makode. They can also distribute products, system 2E, can also distribute products up to Ore. So these are Kaduna is also there. These are the things that can be able to make marketers within their TTZ up to like 50, 70, 100 kilometers, get petroleum products as fast as quickly as possible, come to their filling station with less haulage, with less haulage. And because haulage is eating part of our money, we'll still go to Apapa to go and buy this product and take it to Kano, take it to Meduguri, take it to Lagos, take it to Port Harcourt and all the rest of them. We will find out that from Bauchi or Meduguri to Lagos, the cost of transportation is close to 3.5 million naira. So when you buy a product at 650 naira and you add the cost of transport of 3.something million naira into that, you know the cost is you're not going to sell that product less than 750. And the Petroleum Equalization Fund has been removed in line with the Petroleum Act. So a lot of people are suffering it. So that is why I said it is also pertinent at this point that as the government is building the refineries, they're also building the pipelines so that our roads will be more safer. The heavy-duty trucks will not fly on the road. They're also building the railways. The railways can be able to give you 20 to 40, 50 million liters from one destination to another. Without all these trucks flying, the wear and tear, we keep on importing tires, we keep on importing, we are now slaves to who? A Chinese company that build trucks. So all these things is drilling the economy. It's weakening the naira.
All right. Well, those are salient suggestions that you made, and we really do hope that something is done about it. Mr. Okadike Chinedu, National Public Relations Officer, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association in Nigeria, thank you so much for joining us and discussing this issue with us.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.